We're going to end off our neuromuscular unit by talking about our athletic fate. Okay, so we've got two objectives here in these next few slides. And so here we've got Eliud Kipchoge. I think I said his name wrong, so I apologize for that. But he is the guy that I think it was about 2, maybe 3 years ago, ran the first and only sub 2-hour marathon in the history of the world. Okay, and it's not considered the world record because of the conditions that were used, but still, he ran a marathon, 26 miles, 385 yards in less than 2 hours, which is ridiculous. To put that into perspective, just imagine getting on the treadmill at the rec, putting it at the highest speed that you can possibly go, and then doing that for 2 hours. That would be great. The problem is you've only gone 24 miles in 2 hours, and he did 26. Okay, so that's pretty ridiculous. Okay, and that's assuming the treadmill only goes up to 12 miles an hour. So if we're going to be good at long-term, long-intensity exercise, we need lots of slow twitch fibers. Okay, so we'll have low power, but we'll be efficient with the power that we produce. All right, and so our ability to do this is really highly correlated with the density of the mitochondria. If we have more mitochondria, we can use more oxygen. If we use more oxygen, we produce more ATP, and we can do an activity for a longer period of time. We're fatigue resistance. So an endurance athlete, small muscle mass relative to the fiber size, large percentage of type 1 fibers, and as a result, they have high endurance. So you look at someone like me, and really, if you look at someone like me or what I would look like, I was actually talking with some friends the other day, and we were just talking about, what we were like when we first got to college. I was as tall then as I am now. I was 6'3". I think I was 135 when I showed up at college, and so I'm 6'3", about 200 pounds right now. And so that was me. I was just ridiculously skinny. I ran a lot. I biked a lot. I ate a lot. Life was great. And then I got old and metabolism slowed down and a whole bunch of things. Okay, but still, I'm pretty good at the endurance stuff. All right, now they've done studies where they've been able to type athletes' muscles, and what you can see here is the greater the type 1 percentage of type 1 fibers, really there's a kind of a correlation between the distance that people are good at. All right, and so we go from a marathon to a 10K to a 5K to 1500, so on and so forth, the sprints, and it's pretty linear. Obviously, there's some variability in there, but there's kind of this nice line, right? Obviously, people that do the jumps and throws, that's a lot of power in a short period of time, so they're not going to want a lot of type 1 fibers. But it's also interesting to note that people that are untrained kind of are almost 50-50. So the ultimate question is, can you choose your athletic fate? Remember, endurance athletes, small muscle mass compared to their fiber size, whereas strength and power athletes are the opposite. They have a lot of type 2 fibers. They don't have endurance. They can produce a lot of power, but they can only produce that power for a short period of time. Okay, and so if I'm going to get in a fight with the guy, I'm not going to fight him. I'm going to run away, right? So as long as I can get away from him in the first, few seconds, minute or so, I'm in good shape. But if he gets a hold of me, if one of these guys gets a hold of me, I'm a dead man. So there was a study, and what they did is they had people cycle 1 hour a day for 4 days a week for 5 months. So pretty intense study. And what they found is that the percentage of type 1 fibers went from 32 to 36%, so increase of 4%, and the max was somebody that increased by 9%. Okay, and so that's a lot of effort for not a lot of change. Okay, so how do you choose your athletic fate? Well, really, it comes down to you can't. Genetics play a huge role. And so in order to change your fiber types, you're actually causing changes in your gene expression. All right, so you can start to change the myosin form relatively shortly, but you've also got to change the muscle fibers, okay? Because the muscle fibers have these characteristics that allow them to be fast twitch or slow twitch, okay? As we said earlier, it's possible to go from fast fatigable to fast fatigue resistant, but it takes time. But there is a little bit of a shift, but not much if you go the other way. Okay. But really, it comes down to genetics. If you're disappointed being an endurance athlete, blame your parents. If you're disappointed being a power athlete, blame your parents. So really what it comes down to is you might be able to build an elite endurance athlete, but you can't really make an elite power athlete. They're born that way. Okay? And so if you're going to try and become an elite athlete, it might be easier to become a distance runner as opposed to a power lifter.